Okay, today is the September the 15th, 2006, and I'm interviewing Rick Brame. My name is Mule, and this is a project for Wilkes County Preserve America, Save Our History. And Rick, thank you for agreeing to an interview for the Oral History Project. It will be used in our Save Our History project and may be placed in our libraries in Wilkes County. There's a great interest in the preservation of oral histories by our veterans, and we appreciate your business. First of all, tell me about your parents, your family, and where you lived before you went into service.
I've always lived here in North Wilkesboro, except I went to college, and then I went into the Army. And
who were your parents?
My parents were Bob Brame and Nell Brame, and they were both raised here in the town too.
And tell me the branch of service and where you took your basic training.
I took basic training at Fort Jackson, and what was the other question? Basic
branch of the service.
Oh, Army infantry.
Mm-hmm.
Then they tested everybody in basic training, and I passed to go to OCS, so I went to OCS, and I went there just for the simple reason of being able to make a little bit more money. While I had to, at that time, everybody had to serve in the Army unless you could figure out some kind of, or branch of service, unless you could figure out an excuse or had some kind of political connections to keep you out. And like most people, we all did our duty and went to various branches of service. And I chose the infantry OCS simply because I guess I'd seen too many John Wayne movies, and I just figured I wouldn't get hurt.
Okay.
Big mistake.
To the average person that don't understand the military lingo, sort of explain to me what OCS is.
Okay, OCS is Officers Candidate School. And a lot of people call them 6-month glories because people will go to West Point for 4 years and become a second lieutenant. Or you can go to OCS for 6 months and become a second lieutenant. And usually, not as a rule, but the OCS officers are normally kept out of harm's way.
Now, you said you had gone to college. How many years had you been in college?
3.
So, do you think that helped you get into the OCS training program?
No.
It didn't?
No. You just, I mean, if you had normal intelligence and didn't mind staying in service a few more months, you would, there were several second lieutenants that were 19 and 20 years old that had no college. And there was not too much academics involved. It was.
Describe your uniform.
Well, it's very much like a suit and a tie, other than the fact that they're all the same color. And your jacket is called a blouse. It's got brass buttons on it. And you put all of your accomplishments over here in the form of ribbons. And many ribbons are absolutely worthless, but they look good on the high-ranking generals.
Did you receive any special medals or recognition?
I got 2 silver stars and a Purple Heart and the Vietnamese Cross for Gallantry, which was I think, the highest award the Vietnamese government gave you. However, to an officer, it was just a merit badge for being over there. So it really didn't mean much. My Silver Stars did. And very proud of that.
Let me go through this. It's basically a veteran interview. Then we'll get into talking about the later. So just keep that on your back burner. Describe the food that they had in the military.
When I was in Vietnam.
All through the basic.
Okay. It is a very physical training, which most young men can take pretty easily, and you are worked to death in a physical sense. You run everywhere you go, and you're all the time hungry, and you don't have candy bars, any of this, and it's probably good because when it came mealtime, boy, I mean, they could have served you anything. It was delicious, and the food was. I never complained about the food. And when you sit down to a meal that is fixed, that is hot, the term is hot A's. In other words, A means their very best they have to serve you. C rations are 2 steps below hot A's, and that's food out of a can. And I guess there's B rations, but I don't know what it is. Then we had also LERP rations, which was, they call it something different now, but LERP rations at that time was like a tobacco pouch that was waterproof, and you'd tear it open and then pour hot water into it. And in some cases, you'd pour cold water into it, and you would have a dehydrated salad that tastes a very good salad. And the LERP rations were, I just loved it.
Would that be like now they call it MR, is it MRI? What is that,
I've heard it on the History Channel, but I forgot what it is. But yeah, that's what it is. And I mean, you had spaghetti and meatballs, and it was just, at the time, 30 years ago, or nearly 40 years ago, I thought that was state of the art, and I just couldn't believe we had such nice things, and it was delicious.
What kind of entertainment did you have? Anything? What did you do when you were off duty? In other words, talk about what you did.
You mean like passes?
Well, what did you do to entertain yourself when you were off duty?
In the United States or in Vietnam?
Oh, both places.
Well, in the United States, I would prefer not to mention what I did, but in Vietnam, we did crazy stuff. I mean, we were in the jungles. We never saw entertainment. I mean, the entertainers never came to the jungles where it was dangerous. Nobody came out there except 2 people that I know of. One was Woody Hayes, who was the football coach at Ohio State. He went on patrol with one of my sister platoons. Went on patrol with him. I mean, he just wanted to see what it's like, and he was an absolute pure American. And the other was Fess Parker, and he went on a patrol in another company, but I knew the fella that took him on patrol, and he said he was the nicest fella, and all of the troops just certainly appreciated somebody coming out there, spending the night with them, and in a very hostile situation. It made them feel more secure, I guess.
Did he bring his his Daniel Boone cap?
No, he just wore, I didn't see him personally, but they just said he had on Army fatigues. And
what about buddies? Did you form some close relationships with your fellow?
You'll never have a better friend ever have a better friend than the people that you absolutely fought and killed with. And one of the horrors of war is killing other people. I mean, I don't care what kind of enemy you have. They are people that are just taking orders like we are. And to kill, these are innocent people you're killing. Even though they're trying to kill you, they're still killing them. And I have guilt feelings and nightmares about it probably every day. And if
What are some of the nightmares like? Can you talk about
yeah. I have this dream. Well, first of all, one time on January the 2nd, 1968, my platoon, I had to go in and rescue another platoon that was under siege, and we had to break through the lines of the enemy, kill them, and then evacuate the wounded. And the people up in the helicopters would tell us, Brame, he said, there are people coming towards you, and it looks like ants coming out of a hill. He said, you're going to have to get the hell out of there. He said, you're going to be dead if you don't. And it was getting near dark, and you're not medevaced or dusted off or evacuated after dark unless it's extreme circumstances. Well, anyway, luckily they got us and we got out of there, and it wasn't anything. But I have dreams that these people came and I'm fighting them, and I'm fighting them with a shovel. And I don't know why, but I mean, that dream just keeps coming back and back and back. And sometimes I thought, no, I'm dreaming. No, I'm not either. This is real this time. And it's scary. And I want to tell you something. I truly believe that if some of the leaders in the past were in actual combat on the ground, where blood is flying and people screaming and cussing and just praying all at the same time, I don't believe we'd ever have a war. Because I'd never send somebody's child to endure what we had to endure.
So you think we ought to just let the leaders go out in the desert somewhere?
And let them fight it out. I doubt if anybody'd show up.
Okay, there's some other questions later on that we'll probably get into.
Okay, all right.
Like that. But anyway, I'm not going to stop you if you
I understand.
Just keep on talking, because you got some good information. The weather, what was the weather like in Vietnam?
The weather in Vietnam is about like here in July, but it's year-round. And one half of Vietnam is in the monsoon season. And then when the dry season kicks in, the other half of Vietnam is in the monsoon season. I mean, Vietnam is probably about the size of New Jersey. And if you just drew a line through the center of New Jersey, you'd have the dry season and the monsoon season going on at the same time, all the time. And what was it now? We were in about the most northern part of the southern part of the monsoon season. And we're there, and we just couldn't wait. Oh, it's starting to dry up, because about every day at 3 o'clock, be a beautiful sky, and all of a sudden just